Hi, in this video I will be discussing the following themes in Mrs Dalloway: love and social relationships, similarities between human and animal behavior, the human psyche, anima and shadow, alienation, duality, and finally, death. Welcome. So, let me offer you some insight on the piece we read, or you read, in the previous video, okay? The context is that Clarissa Dalloway had been walking down the streets of London and she had bumped into a former fiancé, Peter, and so she had been remembering her relationship with him and how she broke up with him. And this led on to a number of thoughts and ideas. She's thinking about herself in terms of an animal because she seems to have a sixth sense when it comes to judging people. She acknowledges the fact that she can recognize someone's intentions or way of being just by being next to them. From that, she jumps on to the memory of parties and the people she knew and how they threw parties and she had fun and there was dancing and she knew many houses around the neighborhood and she describes some of the features of the houses. It is as if you were walking down the street and you jump on from this thought of a previous relationship onto the description of the place you're looking at, and in the middle you think about yourself as a person who has this or that characteristic. She thinks about a fountain and throwing a shilling, and then she looks at the surroundings and she thinks that the most important thing for her is the here and now. That even though she doesn't know much, and this is her shadow speaking from a psychological perspective, her shadow is telling her, lady, you are good for nothing. But then probably her anima or herself show up and they say, you are good for something. You have this ability of telling people or reading people when you meet them. So it's not that you're not good for nothing. Maybe you haven't got scholarly knowledge, but you can read people well. And this is a discussion or an argument between the shadow and the anima. And that's why on the previous video I used the two archetypes provided by Jung to show you maybe how I was interpreting this. From then, she moves on to a metaphysical thought. She regards her own essence as being capable of remaining in the surroundings. And believe me, at a certain age, you think about death a lot and you start wondering. And well, depending on your beliefs and your thoughts, you may think something or the next, but for her, she thought her essence would probably remain in the objects in London. So on the one hand, she thinks she's going to disappear and cease completely, but on the other hand she says, maybe not, maybe I will remain, my essence will remain in these objects. That's why I care about all this that much, because I am thinking that I will impregnate these things with my essence somehow. On a par with that, she has been dealing with a number of binary oppositions or dichotomies. For example, she thinks she is very sharp because she can go through people and objects at an instant and understand and know them, but on the other hand, she feels misty, blunt, as if very ethereal, sort of. And the other dichotomy is that she feels young, but she feels very old. And with all this being said, what you get from Mrs. Dalloway is that there is this sense of alienation. She feels that she is surrounded by people, but she feels detached. She feels all alone. Has it ever happened to you that you're surrounded by people, but you don't really think they keep you company? They are just there. They are people, but you're alone. This is the way she felt. Well, my dear community, as a conclusion, I could tell you that reading such a piece is not easy. It's not an easy task. And it took me a number of years to be able to appreciate it as a work of art. Because when I was told to read it a number of years ago, I just wanted to see the action. So I skipped full pages at once just to get to the part in which something happened. And this was not at all Virginia Woolf's intention. She didn't have the intention to provide a linear narrative in which you get the action. So you may think, and I do think still, that this is not my cup of tea. That it is not something I would buy to read for entertainment. But it is a challenge for the mind. And as a challenge, and if you want to do something that defies your way of thinking, well, this is just the ideal thing to do. Try to read it and try to understand it. And if you get bored, stop for a few days and then you go on reading and you will find it also very interesting. Take it as a very, very peculiar piece of art, just like a Picasso. I will tell you thank you again for watching. Please, if you like the video, give me a like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. That will be all for today. Bye-bye.